Good evening, everybody. I already tried to do this tag once before, but unfortunately the video was way too long. So I'm going to try to do it again right now. And the video I'm going to do is, or the tag I'm going to do is the Winter Wonderland book tag. And I will post the original creator who made this tag on the Dropbox. So the first question is Snow and Ice, a book with blue, purple, and white on the cover. Now, I couldn't find a book with all three colors, but I do have a few books with blue and white on the cover. So I chose this one. I had just got this one at the end of last year, I think. It was, I have heard about this book several times. Of course, some of the people that I heard about this book from said they don't like it and don't get the appeal. But I figured I would check it out, and it was only like $3. I got it from that used bookstore I've mentioned several times in my videos. So I figured I'd check it out. I mean, I like Gone with the Wind, and this seems to be in the style of Gone with the Wind as far as like epicness. So I'm gonna try it out, and like I said, it wasn't that expensive. But anyway, see, it has, and it, since this is referring to a winter wonderland, it looks like a very wintry scene. So it may not have purple in it, but it does have blue and white in it. Oh, and in case you can't tell, this is The Brown Horseman by Paulina Simons. Okay, so next question. Question number 2. A Warm Fire, a book that you'd like to curl up by the fire. Now, I've never really done that before. Usually I just like to sit there and warm my back. But then, of course, too much heat can make your back itchy. But I'm trying to think of books that I think would be good for that I wouldn't mind doing that for. And that is, or that anyone else wouldn't mind. And I decided everyone's favorite, Harry Potter. This is the first book in the series, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I just figured this seems like a good book that you would want to read curl up by the fire in the winter time. I mean, I think you could read it during the summer and the spring too, but it just seems very and it also could actually fit question number 3, but I already have a book for that. So this is the book I chose for number 2, a book that I would like to curl up by the fire and read. So now on to question 3, which is Hot Chocolate, a book that is sweet and heartwarming. And I picked this one, Kate Morden's The Forgotten Garden. This is a two-person perspective, a woman and her granddaughter. You go back and forth between when the woman, this one woman was growing up and everything, and then you go to her granddaughter who, was abandoned by her parents and sent to go live with her grandmother for a period of time. And the story with the grandmother is that she discovers that her family, actually, they just found her at the wherever, like, I guess docks or whatever, or I guess that would be called the docks. They found her, and the only thing and she was just this little girl who was, abandoned by her family, her biological family, and all she had was a suitcase and this fairy tale book. So the family, it's years later, and as an adult, they tell her what happened, that they just found her, and they raised her, and her biological family never came to claim her, so she goes back to where she was born, and try to figure out who her family is, and meet them and stuff. And then in the present with the granddaughter, she's living with her grandmother, and then she forms this relationship with her grandmother, this good relationship with her, and ends up somehow finds out about what happened to her grandmother and her little secret about being adopted, and she goes to investigate it as well and learn about her grandmother's family. And there's actually a mysterious garden involved in the story, which is why a lot of people assume that it's a lot like Secret Garden. But if you actually read the book, it's nothing like Secret Garden. But I say that this is a heartwarming, sweet book because it's about family and figure out, finding yourself and finding out who your family and learning and like connecting with your family and figure out who is your true family, and sometimes you don't have to be blood to be family. Okay, so next, question number 3. Question number 4. Frosty the Snowman, a character that you wish would come to life. And that is, what I chose for that is Kel from the Shades of Magic trilogy. Kel is just so sweet and so adorable, and he can travel through different dimensions or different worlds. I mean, I don't know if he could do that here, because sometimes in some storylines magic works differently. Like, I remember when I still watched the show Once Upon a Time, when they finally got magic back, both Regina, the character of Regina, the evil queen, and Rumpelstiltskin found out, aka Mr. Gold found out that magic works differently and you can't just easily access it. So I'm wondering, if Kel was brought to the real world, I wonder if he still could be an Antari, which is their magic, what their sorcerers or wizards or whatever would be called. But he is adorable. I would love to hang out with him. He's just really cool, and I can't wait to continue the trilogy and read the next 2 books. But I'm waiting because I want to buy the 3rd book soon. Another book to actually add to my list of books I want to buy. So I choose Kel for a character I would love to bring to life. Okay. So next, question number 5. Snowflake, a book that was truly unique. Okay. I have to go up and get that. Okay. This is not one book, this is actually a whole series that I thought was unique, and that is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This is a fairy tale retelling series about Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and Snow White. But it's a sci-fi retelling, and it's one it's not just retelling, it's like I said, it's retelling of all these fairy tales, and they're all connected. And it's not a companion series, because, I mean, yes, all 4 of the books focus on a different girl, but they all interweave. So it's a sci-fi retelling, and some of the characters are very unique, like Rapunzel is a tech genius living on a satellite, spying on Earth. Cinder is a cyborg, part cyborg. She was killed in a fire, actually. So she has cyborg because her body was so deformed, they had to give her cyborg parts. I can't remember. Well, Little Red Riding Hood, she's not a little girl, obviously. She's a teenager. And, well, they're all teenagers. But she's a little feistier, and she actually falls in love with the Big Bad Wolf, technically. And she can fire, and she's good with a gun, too. She's pretty badass. She's a bit of a temper, also. And then you have Winter, Snow White, who is crazy because in the story you have people living on the moon who are called lunars, and they have this special power where they can manipulate and control bioelectricity. So they can manipulate your mind, they can make you see what they want you to see, and they can make you do things like shoot yourself. And if you don't use your lunar gift, you'll go crazy, and that's what happens because I'm getting all tongue-tied with the names. Winter realized that her gift has consequences, that she could hurt people with her gift if she wasn't careful. So she stops using her gift, and in the present of the story, because that's in the past, she goes crazy. But I think, and also all the guy characters are very unique as well, and it's a very complicated, very interesting series with politics, and the girls aren't just damsels in distress, and like I said, it's a sci-fi retelling, so that makes it unique as well. Okay, so question number 6. A book you are blown away by. This was hard. I almost didn't, when I filmed this the first time, I didn't really give an answer. I mean, I said possibly Six of Crows could be my answer because that was really cool and that was really good. And I feel like that was a book that was worth being blown away. But I decided to pick something a little different. I went ahead and grabbed something that I was kind of like that. I'm trying to move all these books up. And this is a really different answer because this is not the most exciting book in the world. It's actually a classic, an epic classic. I mentioned it early in this video, and that is Gone with the Wind. I mean, look at this book. Look at this chunker. It's a long book. It's like, I mean, it's not as long as, I think the book It by Stephen King is a lot longer. But this is 1,024 pages. But it's, it's so great because, yes, it's a romance. And I'm not a huge fan of romances, but because it isn't just about the romance, it's about the war and about Scarlet and how Scarlet grows up and figures out who she is and learns and begins to understand what real love is. And it's about the South and how they deal with the Civil War. And if you know your history, the South lost in the Civil War, and it's not just a generic love story. Or a love story that happens to have Flash in it, like, a character's a vampire or a werewolf or a fag or an elf or something. It's epic. And that's the kind of romance I might consider reading, I'll consider reading. I don't know if I'll like it, but I really like this one. And this is so much to offer, and it's a beautiful story, and I think everybody should read it. And I was, reading it for the first time, just like, wow, this is amazing. So, I mean, it might be a weak answer, but there's never been a book that there's books that not that I don't love the books I read, I don't get excited or anything, or don't fall in love with my books. It's just sometimes I wonder, am I really blown away by these books? Of course, that might be a reason someone might say, well, then you should get rid of them, and that way you can buy more books later. So, that's my answer. It's lame, but it's my answer. Okay, question number 7. Penguin, a book with a cute animal character. Now, there are a lot of cute animal characters. There's Fleetfoot from some Throne of Glass series. There's the owls like Pigwidgeon and Hedwig and Harry Potter. There's and there's a lot of books with cute, adorable animals. But the one that I ended up going with, let me see if I can grab it, is the dragon, which actually, I think about it, he's not cute in the traditional sense, but that is, and I didn't want to include another Sarah J. Maas book in this, which is why I chose this one. But I could have chosen some of the animals in Sarah J. Maas' book, and I could have chosen, and there was another dragon book that I thought the dragon was a little cuter, and that was the Inheritance Cycle. Saphira was probably cuter, but I chose the dragon in this story, which I don't remember his name, but I remember him being really cute, and I really liked him. He was really cool. This is a middle grade series about this kid named Javid who is half elf, half human, and he is living with his biological family, and his biological father is a blacksmith, but he makes, I think that's what these people are, a leathersmith, or someone who makes, saddles, but saddles for dragon riders. Those are like the soldiers of this world. And one of the best soldiers, Ulrich, shows, I think that's who it was. He shows up and sees Javine and sees potential in him, in Jay. So he brings him with him to be trained at the school for dragon riders. Actually, he doesn't bring him. His father brings him, and then he becomes a mentor. Ulrich becomes a mentor, Javine's mentor, and goes through the typical, typical conflicts of books about schools. He gets bullied. He gets a roommate. There's training. There's rigorous training, but of course, there's the conflict. The school it would be boring if it was just about these characters attending the school and going through the usual tedious aspects of schooling, but there is, because it would just be boring. To quote Ron, you're always, you'll never have a boring year at Hogwarts. But he finds out he overhears that there's a plot against his mentor, that they're trying to kill him. So Javine and his roommate decide to get involved, especially when his mentor gets kidnapped, and his mentor's daughter, gets involved as well. So it's a fun middle grade, and like I said, the animal I'm choosing is Javine's pet dragon. I always wanted a pet dragon. I think that would be really cool if there really were dragons to have as a pet. But also can be very dangerous because he could set things on fire. So that's a cute animal that I chose. Not the traditional cute, but still cute in its own way. Okay, so next, Icicles, a book that was nice on the outside but hazardous to your health. This was another one I had trouble with, but I picked one. And this is not the best answer, but I chose Queen of Shadows. Yes, I chose Queen of Shadows, one of Sarah J. Maas's books. But it's more of a personal thing. It's not that it was a bad read. This is a great book. It's well written. It's beautifully written. It's awesome characters and character development, all that. The reason why it's hazardous to my health, I'm struggling with this because I am a Kale fan, and everyone knows the Kale drama, so I've been struggling with this book. And it's not a bad book or anything. It's not like reading 50 Shades of Grey or a book that's poorly written that you just regret reading. I'm having a hard time getting through this book, and I'm getting really emotional about this book. I'm getting really angry. So, but it's not a book that I'm going to stop reading. I'm going to continue reading because, like I said, Sarah J. Maas is the queen of fantasy, and her writing is brilliant and everything. It's a personal thing but I'm not going to not continue with the series because of that. I'm going to keep going because I love the series. Okay, so, question number 9. Ice Skating. A book about childhood friends. Okay, so the book I chose is actually a horror book. But the book centers around a group of people who were friends as children. And that is It by Stephen King. This is a book about these 7 friends who grew up together, set in the 1950s, so there was a lot of racism and a lot of bullying and a lot of bigotry and all that kind of stuff. And these friends, you have one kid that's black that is part of this group of friends, this one kid who's a hypochondriac and has a very controlling mom, and then you have the leader of the group is a kid who stutters, especially since his brother was killed. And then you have the one girl of the group that's really poor, and her dad is just a janitor. And then you have, and then you have the nerdy kid with the glasses who can't shut up and gets, and then you have the one kid who he's Jewish. I think that's all. I think I covered all of them. And they're all part of this group called the Losers Club. And in their town, there's this evil entity, this evil monster that comes every 27 years, 27 to 30 years, and kills and eats all the children of their town. Like, it will take the form of whatever you're most afraid of, and will eat you. And these 7 kids are the only ones who have escaped, and because of that, they end up being the chosen ones. They end up being, in a way, the chosen ones to defeat it. And like I said, the leader of the group, Bill's his name. It was his brother was murdered by it, so he has been determined to get revenge on it for the longest time. He's a kid about a beautiful. It's a horror. I mean, it's not the most beautiful story in the world, but it's an amazingly written story about friendship and how, and experiencing childhood and having to say goodbye to childhood. And friendship is love, and friendship is one of the most powerful weapons you're going to have against evil. Okay, so that was question number 9. Okay, question number 10. Almost done, you guys. One Horse Open Sleigh, a book with an adorable romance or cute couple. Originally, when I first did this, I was going to say Akamath, but I decided to go a different route. And, it's over there, of course. I'll be right back. Okay, so a cute couple, One Horse Open Sleigh, a cute couple, or adorable romance, and I chose Thorn and Crest from the Lunar Chronicles. This is the 3rd book in the series. Crest is the Rapunzel character. This is so adorable. I love these two. They're my first ever couple throughout the series, and then the next couple is Wolf and Scarlet, but these two are my number 1 couple. They're just so cute. I mean, so in the story, Crest is she's a tech genius. I mean, in the story, Crest is like this tech genius. She's like super smart, and Queen Lavanna, the villain, sees this, and and she has her right-hand woman Sybil take Crest and place her in a satellite so she can spy on Earth and give them information. And when the whole thing with what happens in the first book happens, her new mission is to figure, to not only spy on Earth and everything, but also keep an eye on, Cinder and stuff. And she learns everything she can, including about Carswell Thorn, who is the guy who helps Cinder break out of prison. Because by the end of the first book, she ends up in prison. And Crest is just... She immediately is enamored with Thorn. She is obsessed with him. She becomes quite the fangirl of him. Learns everything she can about him. Learns that, and she does learn that he's a bit of a ladies' man. He's a bit of a charmer, but she also sees his good moments when he's nice and stuff. And she immediately, despite him being a bit of a charmer, she still totally develops a crush on him. And then finally, when Cinder and her friends go to rescue Crest from the satellite, because she wants to help them, she meets Thorn, who, just like in the original story for Rapunzel, he gets blinded, and she becomes his eyes, and, when the satellite crashes on Earth, in Africa, actually, he realized right away that she has this little crush on him and everything, and knowing that he's not the greatest, he realizes, he's very self-aware that he's a bit of a ladies' man, he's not that great of a guy, and he feels bad that Crest has this crush on him, and, does that thing that I don't like. I hate when guys do that in books, the whole pushing someone away because I'm no good for you, I need to protect you. But in this case, it's kind of adorable. But they're still so adorable. And he tries to push her away, but, she still can't help but have this crush on him and still believe that he's a good, decent guy. And and it's just so, they are so cute together, and you can see him start to fall for her and everything. It's just really sweet, and they're so precious. And I'm trying to, is this the book, or is it winter when you, I don't know, but I'm wondering if, I'm trying to, well, I'm assuming, I hope it is, and it's not in the winter, because I don't know when I'll get that book. There's one of my favorite scenes, I'm between the two of them. I don't know if it's in the scene or in this book or not. I hope it is. I mean, it would make sense if it is, so I'm going to assume it is, but I'll be really disappointed if it turns out it's not in this book. It's on until winter, but it wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't. But anyway, these two are just so cute. I love them. I love their little romance, and I just love them. And I remember there's a short story about them in that book, Stars Above, and you can tell they're basically the type of couple who kind of fights like an old married couple. But you're all like, but you know, even when they're old, you imagine they'll still be holding hands. But I love them. They are so cute together, and they are my favorite couple in the whole series. Okay, so question number 11. A Snowball Fight. A book that has action and humor. I don't want to say Harry Potter because that would be too obvious, and plus, I've already mentioned Harry Potter once. I just don't want to say it again. I want to stay away from that. But I said Heir of Fire. Now, I can't pinpoint the humor in this book, but it is very funny. There's a lot of witty banter between characters, especially between Selena and Rowan Grin. And I'm not a fan of that ship. I'm totally not into that ship. But they can be really funny with their sarcasm and their little innuendo type jokes. So I do think this is very funny, and there is a lot of action. Like, there's training sequences, and Selena comes up against the Flag Princes, I don't know what they're called, who were people that with a special metal chain or band or whatever, or something, will possess innocent humans. So there's a lot of action. There's wars. There's Selena using her fire powers. There's a lot of action in this book. Okay, so finally on to the last question. Hopefully this, and that is Aurora Borealis, a book with a beautiful cover. Now, I don't know if they mean a book with just a beautiful cover, or a book, whether it's a book that you don't like or not. But I went with a book with a beautiful cover that I just bought that I have not read yet. And that is Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven King, the last book in the Raven cycle. I love this cover. I love that it looks like a painting. The images of the stag or the deer or whatever. I guess he's a deer. I don't know. And the birds. Like, it looks like a painting, which is really cool. The blue is really beautiful, and I also like how the effect of the author's name and the title being a little three-dimensional, and shiny. The white and the blue are really shiny, and this is a really beautiful cover. And I can't wait to get to this, but I have to finish Blue Lily Blue first, which also is beautiful. Like, all those covers I feel like are really beautiful. And they all kind of look like artwork. And I mean that literally. I'm not just saying metaphorically that it's a piece of art, but it looks like artwork, especially like this one. So anyway, that is the Winter Wonderland book tag. I don't really like. as I've said in previous videos, I don't like tagging people, because since I'm new and everything. But if one of my beautiful followers that I really appreciate wants to do this tag, please feel free to do it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're just passing through and you like this video and you like my other videos, then please subscribe to me. And I will talk to you guys later. Alright, bye.